Hi guys, welcome to the Plug Into Your Life podcast. I have Beth, aka Comet, in the house. I just love seeing her posts. They're so beautiful with her and her man and all the amazing things that they have going on. And a baby's about to be on the way, and she's helping and empowering people to, step into their success with their spiritual businesses and upgrading lives and healers and leaders, and it's so amazing. So Comet, thank you for being on here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be here. So lovely to connect with you. And I'm loving everything you share as well, vibing out with a lot of your messages. So yeah, it's great that you're doing this to help support other people, move through their awakenings.
Yeah, thank you. And if anybody experiences any glitches, she is in lovely Mexico, so hopefully we'll be okay. But Comet, I'm excited to hear, so I see all of your amazing posts, as everyone else I'm sure that will watch this, but what was your life like before you dove into spirituality and serving people and all this women power you've got going on? What was it like before?
Yeah, I think so many people actually resonate. Many people that have come into this lifetime to awaken, to fulfill really big purposes, to help support and activate and awaken other people in this really challenging time. A lot of people resonate with a lot of the challenges and struggles that I went through in childhood. It was a lot of feeling very alone, very disconnected. I was the odd duck in my family, the kind of scapegoat child. Um, I could never really feel understood by my family. I changed schools a lot for various different reasons. So it was like I just never really had a sense of like belonging or fitting in. By 15 years old, I had finally made my first really independent, self-empowered choice to leave home and to start. I think it was really, that was one of the biggest like moments of my life that I started to choose what was best for me at the wise old age of 15. And of course, being so young and having this freedom, of course, there was like so many temptations and things that I dabbled in for the next 10 years or so, a lot of partying, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol. But I think that, the spiritual life was always within me. There was always, I always saw the brokenness in the system. I dropped that structure, this container, this limitation, this comparing children to one another, being told what to do and how to do it and what to say and when to say it and what to wear. Actually, I don't think you guys have uniforms mostly where you are, but in Australia, all the schools have uniforms. So we all have to dress the same and look the same and act the same. And, I jigged school a lot until I left school to just try to find some peace and some freedom. And you know what? It worked for me for a while. I loved working. I loved feeling empowered. I loved being able to choose what I wanted to do in any given day or any given moment. But there was still a lot of fog, a lack of clarity. I didn't really know how to cultivate deep connections with people. I was so young and thrown into the workforce where most people were always older than me. So I couldn't really find my tribe or my community. And that's why I turned to a lot of drugs on the weekend because it helped me, step out of my shell and just have fun with people that I met on the weekends in clubs. And um, yeah, I mean, eventually having started business and having started working from such a young age, I was so independent. I mean, by 21 years old, I was managing a private medical practice for a global corporate and,
Wow.
and making incredible money, like more than what most of my friends started making when they stepped out of university a couple years later. And by this time I was getting, holiday pay with my job. So I was already traveling the world wherever I could go. Just checking the connection. Is it all good on your end? I don't
Yeah,
know how this is coming through.
yeah. Your voice is good. the video is a little glitchy, but anyone listening, just bear with us. It'll be okay.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's that's pretty much like the speediest little overview I could possibly give you. And then I would probably say it was like in my early 20s. You know, I was in this amazing job, making amazing money, living a pretty amazing life. I'd started making even more empowered decisions. Like I discovered, I didn't know it was called this at the time, but I started ontologically designing my life. I wanted to live by the ocean, so I moved to Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, the iconic beach of Sydney. I got a job that was near that beach so I could eliminate the time, you know, between getting to work and getting to the beach, you know, doing what I loved and enjoyed and doing what I had to do. You know, I started to really orchestrate these things. But you know, I lacked a lot of connection to myself. I lacked a lot of really knowing what I truly desired. And that was a really long journey for me. You know, I would have a breakup with a boyfriend, I think at about 21 years old. And I was still in a phase of really not truly loving myself. And so breakup at that time was, you know, drove me into such deep depression and anxiety and loneliness. And I would judge and criticize myself and feel completely unlovable and unworthy because this person outside of me didn't love me. But it was a wonderful thing going through that because from that breakup, I saw that I'd only ever lived basically for partying, working, and boyfriends. And so that was probably my first like really early wake. I started to really start exploring my passions and my joys, and I took up the gym and surfing and skateboarding and reading books and decided to put myself out there to learn more about the world.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people can relate to a lot of that story because, and I mean, even myself, I moved out, before I even finished high school, and I just felt like this weird sense of like I don't fit in. Like I was friends with everybody, like I could sit at any table, and lunch and all that stuff, but it was like this strange disconnect. Like I don't even know. I've analyzed it a lot, but it doesn't really matter. I guess I just didn't. I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially in the spiritual space. It's like, everyone is so lost in their own things, but like, I don't know. I just felt, and I too turned to drugs and alcohol. And that too, I think, is a common theme with like searching for something outside of ourselves to make us, to fill that hole inside. And luckily for us, we made it through the other side of that. But I think as like young people are like trained to like need something outside of themselves to make themselves happy. Like here's the toy, now you can smile. Here's the dollar, now you can be happy. And then we spend the next however many years chasing that. Oh, I need something outside of myself to be happy. I need this. Oh, this makes me feel really good. I'm going to take this. Or this drink makes me feel a lot better. I'm going to take this. And it makes you feel like you fit in everywhere. And then you realize like you hit the ceiling or the floor, and it's like, okay, well, this doesn't go any farther, right? It's like there has to be more than this. I've already exhausted all of the things that everyone says to try. And then it kind of, I don't know, I think you kind of mentioned this, it kind of forced you to kind of step into, you know what? I really like making my own choice, and I really enjoy feeling good about what I'm doing because I want to do it. Right? Is that that was kind of like your curiosity in that kind of kept going as a momentum. Is that, did I get that
Yes,
right?
I love so much of that. Yeah, I resonate with all of that. Like, and what I learned throughout the journey, when I did start making the empowered choices to find out what I really desired, what filled me up, I started to learn the power of energy and our energy focus being inward. So all of these things that are like instant gratification and they can give us a high or a sense of connection, temporarily, we're trying to take power from outside of ourselves. We think that it's outside of us and we can put it in. That people's validation or friendship circles or the parties that we go to, being seen and noticed, being out, that we can fill the void inside with these things, but that void is always going to be there because that void is coming from ourselves. Well, that void for me was coming from myself. I never turned my vision inward to meet myself and say like, hi, how are you? Like, what's going on? How are you
Yeah.
feeling? You've had a tough life. Like,
Yeah.
what brings you joy? Like what you want to, what's going to make you feel fulfilled in this life? What's going to make you feel connected? And as much I know it's very much similar, no one in my past would have ever really seen me as the socially awkward, anxious person. But that was what it was, my reality inside. I was the super bubbly, super friendly, talkative, playful, cheeky, mischievous,
Mm.
fun party girl. Um, but inside, I wasn't connected to myself. So if I wasn't even connected to myself, how could I really feel connected to the people around me? People would know and love me, and I didn't love me, so I couldn't welcome their love in. I didn't really believe I was lovable, so it didn't matter how much love I was shown or given. I didn't feel worthy of it, so I didn't actually invite it into my body.
Wow, that's a really good point. And in my first steps of healing, all kinds of traumas and past stuff and past lives even, and um, all of that healing, it started with me kind of turning within first. So you bring up a really good point. Like, how can you even enjoy your life when you don't even enjoy yourself? You know, yeah. Oh, that's so powerful. And so any healings that I end up facilitating, it always starts with, let's focus on your breath. Let's turn within. Let's Where does your body need attention? Let's take a hand there and let's just give it love and give it attention. And then all of a sudden you'll see like these emotions start coming up, that may be uncomfortable. And it's usually something from your past that you stuffed down in, and then that energy, that emotion kind of got stuck and it caused a problem, usually a pain or a disease or something. And you just send it love, right? And then before you know it, you start making choices based on what you really want, and stop
Mm.
judging yourself for wanting that thing. Like, it's your human right to desire whatever it is you want, right? Do you see that? Did you start like judging yourself? Like, you know what? Like, I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't want success, or I shouldn't want to live in another country, like whatever that is. And you get like judgment from other people almost. Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so, so, so right. And you absolutely nailed it with where this disease and illness comes from. It comes from a lack of connection to our body, of like moving energy through and shining light and love there. It starts with diseases of like the air and the light, which, is in the mind. And then it comes more hard diseases of like the liquids and the bloods in the body. And then it hardens into, over years, worse diseases like cancer, and so for me, when I started discovering what I truly desired, it was starting to nurture my body and connect with my body. I started training more and eating better and becoming more, building a relationship with these messages being sent from my body. And I had suffered so many of these physical ailments. I had constant like throat diseases and infections. I even had my tonsils cut out, in my early 20s because of so much throat blockage. I'm now a voice activationist. So I also believe that so much of our journeys are, have been orchestrated and guided, like for us to cultivate the most empathy, for us to be able to serve and support all the disconnect on the planet. We have to really experience a lot of it ourselves, which expands us to greater depths of awareness so that we can support people. And that's, one of the most powerful things I learned was like turning your mess into your message. And that's something that helps us really forgive and find gratitude for our challenges, is, making it into purpose, giving it reason, and turning it, alchemizing it from something shit into something positive to do for the world.
Wow. So say that again.
Yeah.
Turning your shit into a message. What was it?
So Tony Robbins says turning your mess into your message. I call
Oh
it
yeah,
alchemizing your shit into gold.
yeah. And if you look back on any any great story, or I mean, even if you turn to the Bible or any great story in human history, always starts with some sort of challenge, mess, problem, shit, and that story of transformation, which is why I even started this podcast. I want to encourage people. Like, I used to look at like all the problems in my life as like this horrible thing. I don't want to look at it, and it's like the elephant in the room. But until you pull that elephant out and love it, and just that's life, right? That's the it's I what I realize is like there's no finish line. There is no grand thing waiting for at the end. It's simply I'm gonna sit there on my deathbed, hopefully, and look back on my life and like, did I love myself? Did I love what I did? Did I love others? And everything else, it doesn't matter, right? It's just an experience. I feel like. I mean, I think it all matters and it doesn't matter at the same time. It's like this weird like caveat, but I'm
Yes,
by myself.
nailed it. It's like, yeah, it's the great paradox of life. Everything matters and it doesn't matter. And that was something I used to get caught up so much in, like seeing life as this great contradiction, and it caused so much turmoil inside. But when I understood that we need balance and we need both ends of the spectrum in order to come into this like place of love and acceptance and expansiveness, that's when things really shifted. But you asked before, if I experienced that, judgment and criticism of myself for wanting or needing more, for wanting to do nice and good things for myself. And yes, I think that's the biggest problem that blocks so many people from truly living a life they really deserve and desire. And the thing about judgment and criticism, it's kind of like societally conditioned for us to not love ourselves. Like it's, the old saying, like, oh, he's a bit in love with himself. Like they're a bit too self-involved, and there's only that like negative stigma around self-love. We're not taught self-love in school. And judgment and criticism it's separation, right? It's wanting to separate something from us, like that it's not good enough. And you can't breed connection through separation. You can only breed connection through connection. So through that journey of learning to love myself, to stop criticizing, to really follow my pleasure and my joy and fill myself up, I understood that the more I honored this and filled this cup, the more I could overflow and serve others. And so it was creating love and wholeness and appreciation and gratitude entirely for myself. The more I loved myself, the more I could love others and share that love with others. So separation, judgment, criticism only breeds more separation, judgment, and criticism. But in order to cultivate more connection and pleasure and joy in the world, I had to cultivate that within, and that breeds more connection in the world.
Yeah, really, 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 really love that. And if as you're working with people or talking to others or even your own experience, like what do you think that's like one of the main, like if you could say like top three things that are challenges that can be overcome through turning within, would you say like judgment and fear of criticism and would be like one of the top ones?
Huge, definitely. What other people think and say and feel about you definitely matters a lot less when you think and feel a lot better about yourself. I used to think that other people's judgments and criticisms, I used to believe them because I didn't love myself enough. And that's what really hurts. It was like, oh, I must be something wrong with me. I must have a mental disease, as my family would always, to this day, will still try and put on me.
Yeah, that's funny.
True story. um, and I believed it because I didn't love me enough. And the more that I just honored myself, accepted myself for exactly who I was, for all of the pieces and parts of me that I thought were not good enough or unworthy, when I envisioned those versions of me, and I just invited them visually to just step into my body so that I could hug them and become one, and just let all the parts of me know that I am so perfect and so lovable and so whole and so worthy. And I just was grateful for all these aspects. I suddenly, when other people judged or criticized me, it didn't affect me, because I loved me enough to know that that wasn't true. And I loved me enough to know that that was only them projecting what's going on in their inner world. And I know that anyone who's judging or criticizing others is judging and criticizing themselves so much worse inside.
That is such an incredible point. I still remember, like, it was probably a couple years ago when somebody told that to me, and I started looking at myself judging other people, and I was like, wow, I really am just judging myself. Like, I'm scared of people judging me, and I I want to externalize that so I don't have to have that fear. If I feel like if I'm judging others unconsciously, even, it's almost like a habit. It just comes out. And when I started looking at other people, instead of getting offended about things, I stopped taking things personal and just realized that people are just running on their own habits, routines, and programs. And I feel like by being confident and comfortable with myself, loving myself, like allowing pleasure into my life, not being addicted to things, but choosing to have experiences based on, my current state, and then only seeing love in other people. Like, I feel like just standing in the light, and you look now, you have an objective view over other people in your life where you don't need to be affected by their energy or their judging. It's, oh man, I see you as a sick person, you know, like you're sick and I am sick. If I start acting like that, I wouldn't treat a sick person that way, like I see you with compassion and, oh wow, I've been there. I understand why you're doing that, but I don't need to allow that to affect who I am or what I'm doing. But it starts with what you said, learning to turn within and work through all that stuff. And I think that having a person that's already gone through those steps is so powerful. And so that's where you come in. So you kind of see these things that have happened and you've worked with other people, and now you facilitate this process, right? And it saves people years. It took me 7 years to wake up, So that's such an incredible journey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm still waking up though, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no like sort of that side and this side, we all, I mean,
you're right.
just life is a constant awakening really on so many different levels.
It's like an onion,
Um
like
and it
layers
never
of the onion.
ends. Yeah, it never ends. Life is such an amazing journey, and it's just beautiful once you wake up, and then you get to just embrace this blissfulness of waking up more and more every day. But yeah, that's my role. Ultimately, we are a product of our environment and the people we spend the most time with. And so, one of the biggest life-changing moments for me was later in life when I really started knuckling down on realizing that I was the product of the 5 people I spent the most time with. And that's when I was like, wow, well, I really want to start investing in mentors, like really advanced people that I kind of put on pedestals above me, that as if like I couldn't be friends with them. I kind of still saw myself as lesser. And the more that I invested in myself and met these people, the more that I was held in so much love and in a place of such equalness, that I was able to like absorb their energy and their presence and just understand there's no one above or below anyone, even if you're paying the most advanced mentor. And that I've dived so deep into so many healings, shamanic healings, trainings, facilitations, courses, so much. And just the bottom line I see from all of it is that we are all have so much to give, and that we just need to be held and loved in the highest consciousness in order for our highest consciousness to come out. So the more that someone can just shine loving light on you, the more that truth of your inner loving light can come out and be witnessed. So it's just creating a safe space for people to re-regulate their nervous systems when, you know, the people in their environments in the past have taught them it's not safe to fully express yourself. It's not safe to express your desires. It's not safe to follow your pleasure. It's not safe to do what you want and to honor yourself. That's the only reason we don't do these things, is because someone somewhere in the past, our schools, media, movies, parents, family, friends have planted these seeds that, no, you can't do that, it's going to affect me. No, that's not enough. No, you can't say that. No, you can't do that. And so we're just running on all these programs that aren't real, where we're just wearing all these masks to please the people around us. But when someone can hold us in a safe container of just the ultimate love and light, you can actually dissolve all of those masks. You can dissolve all of that programming, and you can just remove all of this conditioning to find your truth within. And for every single one of us, that is just light and love and power and connection and godliness and divinity and abundance. And it's just absolutely amazing watching people blossom in that, the more I can hold them in that.
Wow. So I just had a show the other day where I taught a meditation class, and there was a Buddhist monk that was a guest appearance in this class I was doing, and he's been a monk for 20 years, and he said that their job is to meditate for 16 hours a day, but the ultimate job is to hold the space for humanity in that space of love and light. And I was just kind of so blown away by this, and he was just so humble and, you know, all that. But he made a scenario of a laser light. So I didn't really realize this, but when you have a laser, there's only one photon particle that gets shot out. And that one photon will arrange a pattern to have all the other light particles follow. And it just takes one. All the other ones, technically, they could just go anywhere. Like, they don't have to follow that light. But because of that one photon that gets shot out, it creates a pattern for the rest of the light to follow. And that's how he described humanity. Like, if you have everybody's in the shadow or in the dark, and you have one light that's shining, that light will go as far as the eye can see. You know, there's no shadow that will be hidden in that light unless there's something blocking it, which is how we can help people get through that stuff, right? But I think that's so important. Like, and I don't even think people realize how important it is to hold the space of love and sympathy and compassion and understanding and like a knowing. Like, I know this work will bring you into the light, you know, and set you free from all these chains that we've allowed our societies to kind of hold us to. And I read this book called The Four Agreements, where we kind of unconsciously make these agreements in society as we grow up without knowing it. And it takes someone, you know, that's there, that's waiting, that's in that space. And I think the curiosity in people allows the law of attraction to bring people into your life that can help you kind of move forward in that, right? And I think that's how you end up meeting people. They come to you randomly, or they see a video or a show like this, and something resonates, and then that inner curiosity, that inner soul, that inner energy wants that. I think everybody really truly desires to fill that hole, right?
Yeah, there is a universal law of us seeking harmony. And the way that I can describe it in the most basic sense is in terms of music and sound, vibration. You know, it's the most ancient language. It's the frequency of everything is energy. It's just frequencies, vibrations, and that's what sound is, right? And so when you hear sounds that work together in harmony, it sounds good, right? It feels good in the body. It's pleasing. And when you hear vibrations that are not working together in harmony, it doesn't sound good and it doesn't feel pleasing. Okay. And this is just how everything works. And our natural instincts, the truth of love within us, wants to harmonize with all the frequencies around us. And we will harmonize and unify with the most harmonic frequency that is in our space. And that's why we invest in support from other people who have cultivated more harmonic frequencies, because it allows our frequency and our energy field to assimilate to it, to cultivate with that. You know, that's the difference between people that were raised by more harmonious, grounded, secure parents. You know, they were just taught, they were raised in a more harmonious field. So holding more harmonious energy in their body is very natural to them. That's all their energy field has ever really known. And so many of us that were raised in a family that we weren't understood, maybe we didn't have a family, or had issues in schools, or had tragedies and challenges that threw our frequency out. We just need to reintegrate our frequency back to harmony again. And that's the purpose of mentorship and investing in people. You know, there's an energy that they embody that you want to harmonize with and assimilate with. There's a truth in those people that you know exists inside of you that you can cultivate. But it's so important to understand that. I think there's a lot of mentors or healers out there that think that they heal people. And the truth of the matter is that nobody heals you but you. You have to put yourself out there. You see the person or call in the person that holds the truth in them that you hold inside yourself. You invest the time and the energy and the money in them to receive that wisdom and that transmission codes into your body. You have to believe it's going to happen. You have to do the work. You're integrating it, and only you can heal yourself. That all happens within, even when you have the support outside of yourself. But the biggest reason I do what I do is because teaching what you need to know yourself is the best way to learn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I, you know, I just learned so early in that, right? And it was just like, I mean, you can do all your practices and you can do all your self-love and all this. At the end of the day, by nature, we want to be connected. And so, you know, you can definitely make a lot of change inside yourself. But what I'm all about is that you don't ever have to do it alone. And it's so much more fun. It's so much more easy to get into practices, to do things with more consistency, to absolutely quantum leap through the challenges of our journey when we're loving doing it, when we're doing it with people that we love being around, when we have community support and all of that connection facilitated. So that's my intention with everything that I create and serve to the world.
Yeah, I really love that. And I'm so thankful for people like you. And I don't think people understand like how powerful. I remember when I first came across my first coach, um, and all of a sudden I'm in like a Zoom room with people that are higher level thinking, right? Like they're seeking to grow, personal development. They want to be better. They're take criticism. They and it forced me to elevate myself, like by surround, like you said, you're the closest five people to you, are basically kind of determining your future. It's like, I didn't say that right, but by surrounding yourself with people that see you as higher. Like when I would say, I don't know if I can do that, my coach would say, oh, no, 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 I know you can do that. Let's give me some examples of in the past of things that you did that were like this. And I would say something, and I don't know. So I had a coach with my business world, but having someone else like a mentor or coach in a spiritual space that also has business mindset, it really kind of made me look deeper within myself, because now I'm like, you have like this mirror effect, right? The human body wants to mirror each other. And when I have someone in front of me that I look at as I respect, I'm exchanging energy by giving some type of money. Now I'm invested in it, because technically all the information that I want is free on Google or YouTube. But I don't know if anyone else can agree with this, but I don't do anything I learn on YouTube usually. But when I started to invest money in, now I'm investing my energy. And now I'm like, well, look, I paid this guy money. I should just do what he says and at least try it, right? And then when I started to get actual results, now I'm like, I don't even think about the money. Now it's like, how much more can I give you to stay in my life forever? It's like you start realizing that money is simply an exchange of energy. And when you invest that energy into something, you are energetically attracting more of that to you and igniting this fire inside of you to take action, right? On making the change, because you're right. No one else is going to give you the results that you're looking for. You have to do the things that are in front of you. You have to pick up the tools that are laid in front of you, right?
Yeah, amen to that. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's so powerful, like working with people in different fields as well. Like I know that there, and it's also just, I want to bring awareness to not everything that works for one person works for others. So I'm super holistic. I don't believe that business is disconnected from spirituality, is disconnected from relationships, is disconnected. It's all connected. But for some other people, that may be what really serves them, to have a business coach, to have something more focused on spirituality, and then another coach more focused on relationships. And I think that's kind of what I struggled with for a long time, was finding someone that suited me, that was super holistic. And I found this amazing business mentor who helps you supercharge every area of your life, in business, in love, in relationships, money, find like everything all together. And that's what resonated with me. And he came from this place of such neutrality, of just such light and love. I've been working with him, doing relationship mentorship with him, because as much as I'm a super successful coach and I help improve and boost people's lives, the reason I can do that and I do it so well is because I'm a real human, and I have all the same real human struggles and challenges, and I'm constantly developing and working on myself. And so me and my partner, we have a lot of triggers and challenges that we need to work on and face. And what I love so much about our coach is that he is like that safe space, like that parent that we never had, that maintained a perfectly harmonious, neutral, balanced energy field, so that he and I can have this safe space to bring our challenges to, and learn to invite that energy into our communication and into our relationship. And it's absolutely life-changing. It's so phenomenal. And yeah, it's I can see now as well, like through that work in my relationship, and inviting more harmonious energy frequencies in that field, which is a field of energy that I live within every single day. I share a bed with that energy, a home, conversations, and everything. My abundance, my business, everything is actually just boosting more than ever. And even though my relationship technically doesn't have anything to do with my business, my energy field is so much more joyful, is so much more clear, so much more grateful and appreciative. And I'm creating more and more and serving more and more from an even higher place of love and joy for my audience, because I'm taking care of these other areas of my life. So it's all so connected.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember just a quick story. Like I had this very successful business with an ex, and our energy as a relationship was really kind of not in a good place. And we couldn't get employees. Like we were falling trap into that mindset of, oh, nobody's hired, like nobody wants to work right now. It was like during COVID and everything. And all of a sudden, like, we started working on our relationship, and it was like one day, it was just so like a magical moment where like all of a sudden we both realized how crazy it was to be treating each other this way. And we shifted our energy together. And all of a sudden, like, I remember just walking into our business, and our was different. Like, everything kind of shifted in us. And then all of a sudden, the following Tuesday, we had our group interviews going on, and we had 8 people show up that all were perfect matches for our business, like the best personalities ever, and they're still there. I think this is like a year ago or 8 months or something, and I remember thinking like I think this had to do with our relationship, like our energy, like you could feel it like a blanket in the whole business, right? Like everybody can feel that, and it was like this tension going on, and it's like this feeling of nobody wants to work, and like it's this weird vibe. And then all of a sudden, as our relationship shifted our energy, it changed my field around me. And all of a sudden, like, I was attracting. I don't even know how it worked. Like, I do know how it works, but like it's like a magic, right? It's like when you shift your energy in relationships in your life, especially the ones closest to you, your life around you transforms into that energy, right? It's so cool. Really cool stuff.
100%. Everything's energy, everything's vibration. And like we clarified, all energy and our truth wants to harmonize. So vibration wants to find like vibration. So as your vibration changes, the other similar vibrations of lightness, of love, of joy, of abundance is going to just come and find you. It's the law of attraction playing out. And a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit that we are all energetic beings, that every single one of us is psychic intuitive. We don't give enough credit to, maybe our employees in the office space. If you're having a fight with your partner at home, they're all feeling that tension, and that energy is brought into their work. So a lot of, like, I believe what really powerful healers and mentors do is they operate with such integrity. They show up in every area of their own life, knowing that that's what's required of them for the job that they do to serve others. In order for me to receive an investment from another person, I uphold my energy field with the utmost integrity. Otherwise, I'd be inauthentic. If I'm trying to teach people how to show up in their life with love, and I'm not even showing up for my relationship with love, like that's disconnect. I'll be only communicating an energy field of disconnect in the things that I do. And this we could dive, that's a whole other topic for another time, like how to really hold your energy field with integrity. I also don't consume alcohol or toxic poisons in my foods and things like that, because of how deep I go with honoring my energy field, and knowing how powerful that is to help support and serve others to lift up into their highest vibration. But I know as well that I'm not doing that for them. I'm just holding the space for them to step up into that higher vibration. I don't heal anyone. I only help support people to heal themselves.
Yeah, it's very important, and oh, all of that is just so beautiful. And so, okay, we're getting to the top of the hour, so I just want to respect some time and thank you so much for being on here again. And I want to just point out, if anyone resonated with any of this and you want to reach out to Comet and just see what she has more to offer, she's also got some really cool things that you can check out to get started on this journey, like a free self-love activation workbook and some other things that will be available to you. Her Instagram and other links will be down below. They call me Comet for Instagram. If you want to check her out, please do that. But real quick here, Comet, I just want to ask you, like, we said so many good things today, and I think people will definitely kind of recognize that, it just starts with here, but you don't have to be so scared of this big thing. Just start taking baby steps. And when you started down this journey, was there a video, a book, a movie, something that somebody could check out today that really impacted your life?
A video, a book, a movie.
One thing. That's
Amazing.
what I'm just saying. Oop.
I think it is such a powerful metaphor for waking up and for seeing the universe running on programs, and maybe watching the movie with a more higher awareness and consciousness to see all of the metaphors of how that plays out in life. I think can teach someone a lot. um
What was it?
yeah, and The Matrix
Oh, The
for a
Matrix. Yes,
movie.
yes.
Yeah. And one of the best books that I ever read, it's all about the energy that we put out and that we give. It was a book given to me at Burning Man by an uber successful conscious entrepreneur, multi-millionaire, a good friend. He runs our camp at the Burning Man Festival. And it's called The Go
Go
Giver.
Giver.
And it's a
Okay.
beautiful, amazing, inspirational read, very spiritual, but also with a lot of business at the core of it, like how to create success. So that's a beautiful read.
Love it. All right. Well, thanks again, Comet, for being on here. I really appreciate your time and your message today.
Thank you so, so much for having me. It's been beautiful to connect, and all the best to you. Sending big love to you, your audience, and everything you're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And guys, please plug into your life. Um, and then we had a little bit of glitching going on with the video, but your voice sounded beautiful and you look amazing. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and please plug into your life. See you guys.
Mm.